Welcome back to Most Myself. I'm Michelle Madrid, and today I am kicking off a summer series, something I'm calling the Summer Before Goodbye. And I want to start today with sharing about something that I don't think we share nearly enough as women and as mothers. Graduation grief. Graduation grief. Because we have just been through a season of caps and gowns, parties and celebrations, scholarships and next steps. Yet there are a lot of mothers out there quietly sitting with something else. An ache, a lump in the throat, a heaviness that they can't quite explain. And maybe that's you. It's been me now twice. I have graduated 2 sons from high school, 1 from college, and my youngest, my daughter, is next. So maybe as you listen in today, your child just graduated, or maybe they're about to. Maybe they're only finishing sophomore year, and you're already counting. 2 more years, 2 more summers, 2 more Christmases before everything changes. Honestly, that is me. My daughter Eviana just finished her sophomore year of high school, and there is so much chatter about junior year already. And yes, about college. And I'm so excited for my girl. I'm so proud of her. And there are times I find myself sitting in my car and holding my heart in my hands as I breathe through the reality that she's growing and going so fast. And I hear that same sentiment from women all the time. In messages, in comments, within coaching conversations. Women who know just how bittersweet it all is. Experiencing the milestones of parenting, celebrating our kids' achievements while also quietly saying goodbye to an entire era of life. Yes, that. Because graduation isn't only about their ending, it's also about ours. And that is what I want to explore today with you. One of the things I've come to understand about grief is that society is comfortable acknowledging certain losses. When someone dies, when a marriage ends, when there's an obvious tragedy, people show up, as they should. There are casseroles, there are sympathy cards, flowers, there is support. But then there are other losses, invisible losses, also called secondary losses. The ones that don't look like grief from the outside. The ones where everyone expects you to be happy. And graduation sits right there. It does. Because your child is graduating, yes, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's exactly what you've been working toward all these years. I mean, you've spent years helping them become independent and capable, confident, ready. And then one day they are. And suddenly you're left holding 2 truths. You're proud beyond words and you're grieving beyond words. at the same time. And the problem is that many women think these emotions cancel each other out. They don't. They don't. You can be wildly proud and deeply sad. You can celebrate and grieve. You can cheer from the bleachers and cry in the parking lot afterward. Both things can be true, and they often are. And I actually don't think most mothers are grieving graduation. They think they're grieving what graduation represents. Because graduation is a doorway. It's a marker, a visible reminder that time has moved, that childhood has moved, that life has moved. And what hurts isn't necessarily the ceremony. It's everything the ceremony symbolizes. The last football game, the last dance recital, the last science fair, the last time your child runs into the kitchen looking for you, the last ordinary Tuesday that you didn't know was the last. And I think that is what catches so many of us off guard. Nobody tells us that motherhood is full of endings. Tiny, tiny endings, thousands of them. And most happen without announcement. One day you pick them up from school for the last time. You don't know it. One day you tuck them into bed for the last time, and you don't know it. One day they reach for your hand for the last time, and you don't know it until much later. And graduation simply gathers all of those invisible goodbyes into one moment and says, look, time has passed. And I want to go even deeper here, because sometimes what we're grieving isn't only our child growing up. Sometimes we're grieving the version of ourselves who was needed. And this is where it gets really tender. Because motherhood shapes us, doesn't it? It shapes our schedules. It shapes our priorities. It shapes our identities. It shapes our purpose. For years, our lives revolve around helping another human become who they are meant to become. And then one day, they began doing exactly that, without us, or at least without us in the same way. The calls become less frequent. The questions become less frequent. The dependence changes. And if we're not careful, we can accidentally interpret that shift as a loss of value. But it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. Your role is changing. Your worth is not. Your role is changing. Your worth is not changing. And I want you to just let that land. Your role is changing, your worth is not. Those are two very different things. And I want every woman listening to hear that. Hear me on this. The changing shape of your motherhood is not evidence that you matter less. It's evidence that your love worked. It worked. I think our culture also tells mothers a few stories that make this harder. And I want to look at these myths now. One of the myths is you should just be grateful. And of course, we're grateful. We're grateful our children are healthy. We are grateful that they are growing, grateful they are launching, grateful they are thriving. But gratitude doesn't eliminate grief. I want to say that again. Gratitude doesn't eliminate grief. In fact, sometimes the things we are most grateful for are the very things we grieve most deeply because we loved them so much. We love them so much. Another myth is this is just part of life. Well, yes, it is, but so is grief. Just because something is normal doesn't mean it isn't painful. Just because it is expected doesn't mean it doesn't deserve acknowledgement. And another myth I hear is, I shouldn't make this about me. I shouldn't make this about me. Except this isn't about making it about you. It's about telling the truth. Your child is graduating. Your child has graduated, and a chapter of your life is ending too. And acknowledging that doesn't diminish their achievement. It honors your experience. It honors your experience. And I think there is a particular tenderness that arrives during the summer before a child leaves. And this may be the place you are sitting in right now. And I'm calling this series over the next several weeks, The Summer Before Goodbye. Because that's what it feels like. Not goodbye forever, but goodbye to a version of life. And suddenly, ordinary moments become sacred. A trip to Target, dinner around the table, watching television together, a drive in the car. Things you have done 1,000 times, thousands of times before, suddenly feel different. Because you realize they won't always look like this. And this is why some mothers find themselves crying over seemingly random things. A backpack, a graduation announcement, a childhood photograph, a pair of soccer cleats in the garage. It's never really about the object. It's about the passage of time. It's about love colliding with change. And that's what grief often is. Love colliding with change. Now, if you've listened to this podcast before, you know I talk often about ache. Because I believe ache carries wisdom. And if graduation grief has found its way into your life, I wonder what that ache might be asking you to notice. Not fix, not solve, just notice. Perhaps the ache is saying, slow down, be here, pay attention, take the picture, have the conversation, stay at the dinner table a little longer. Tell them the story. Write the letter. Say the thing. Maybe the ache isn't asking you to hold on tighter. Maybe it's inviting you to love more consciously, to be fully present for the chapter you are still in. And if you're listening today with tears in your eyes, if you're looking at your child and wondering how the years moved so quickly, if you're celebrating while simultaneously grieving, I want you to know something. Please hear me on this. Nothing has gone wrong. You are not too emotional. You are not being dramatic. You are not ungrateful. You are a mother who has loved deeply enough to feel the ache of change. That's all. So for those of us who are there, or those of us who are almost there, let me say this. Graduation grief is real because the love is real. And while everyone else may be celebrating what your child is becoming, who they are becoming, I want to take a moment to honor what you've been and who you've been in their lives. The ride giver, the lunch maker, the late night listener, the cheerleader, the comforter, the safe place, the woman who showed up over and over and over and over again. This milestone belongs to your child, but in some ways it belongs to you too. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it hurts. Not because you're losing them, but because you're being asked to release another version of motherhood while trusting that love can evolve. Now, today I want to leave you with a reflection question to consider. And here's the question. What is one part of motherhood you are quietly grieving right now that nobody else seems to see? I'm going to ask that question again, just in case you want to jot it down. What is one part of motherhood you are quietly grieving right now that nobody else seems to see? I encourage you to write your thoughts and feelings down in a journal. And sit with those words. Give yourself the gift of seeing yourself. And acknowledge the ache. Acknowledge what's rising up within. Honor what you need. What is that ache telling you that you need? What is that unmet need? And then take one small step toward that. And reach out to me if you'd like with what might come up for you as you sit with this question. Reach out to me. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. I'm here to listen. And we are stronger together.